The next shadow event just got announced. It's going to be during this event here as well, and today we're going to take a look at why you really need to play the upcoming shadow event. It's going to be here later on, actually, from the 23rd until the 25th of January, and we're going to take a look about all of this, but let's take a look at the event where this is going to be into. Basically nowadays, like, all the Team Go Rocket events are also doing other events. It's just taken over events, basically takes over this event, which is here towards Buddy Pokemon. We're gonna get in the new shiny Fiddle, which is really cool. Looks like a really cool Pokemon. By the way, all graphics as always from Galax, like best graphics for Pokemon Go. Definitely follow them. Link is always in the description. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting event where you can get some Pokemon that you can usually just go for. Like, the evolution requirements are going to be a little bit lowered for them, which is kind of nice. There's some shiny boosts around as well, especially for something like this little fish. Forgot the name for it. It's an issue for me for Generation 1 Pokemon. I mainly know the German name. But yeah, this is going to be interesting here. They're all going to be very interesting Pokemon that you can get here, but this is basically just the lame part of the event. Let's take a look at the good part of the event, which is going to be the taken over event, and this is where things are going to be a bit more interesting. What we see on the screen already is we're going to get the Shadow Thundurus, and this is actually more interesting than a lot of people were thinking. Trust me, this Pokemon is going to be a bit more interesting at least, and has even potential for the future to be even way more interesting. But Thundurus is with this available as well for the Open Great League in terms of the CP limit. And so I'm quite happy about this event in this kind of regard. Also, what we're going to have here is a new leader lineup here as well. A lot of times for those kind of variants, there could be a new hidden shadow Pokemon available through leaders as well. But we're only going to get 3 new Shadow Pokemon. This is always going to be happening for the January Shadow event, because it's going to be the starter Pokemon from the generation that is next for the Gold Tour. And this is exactly what's happening here. We want to have the starters of Generation 6, and this makes it so much more interesting. We're going to have the Chespin, the Fennekin, and the Froakie down here, and they're all going to be very interesting Pokemon to take a look at here, which you're going to do, of course, now afterwards, and why this is the case. But also, we're going to have a Shadow Raid Day on the 24th as well. So this is all going to happen next week already. So better be prepared. Like, honestly, better be prepared here. I can't wait to do them. There are more Go Rocket stops as well. I can't wait to do them all here. Yeah, I love the Rocket events. It's one of my favorite type of events, if not my favorite type of events. And yeah, some of the rescued Pokemon may be even shiny if you're lucky, which is also kind of nice there. So I wonder if there's going to be new shiny Pokemon available as well, usually through grunts anyway. And I like that change because I'm not really the biggest fan of the grunts currently. But anyway, let's take a look real quick before we move into the different type of Pokemon. What raid day we're going to have? It's going to be the Shadow Raikou raid day. And this is going to be also an interesting Pokemon. It got buffed quite significantly recently. I actually haven't taken a look really at this Pokemon yet directly here for Pokemon Go PvP, but this is going to be what you kind of have here. So this counter is, as always, kind of here for ground type Pokemon, the Groudon. You're going to have also a ticket that you can get where you get more chances to get Rare Candy XL. But generally, Shadow Raikou has been available plenty amount of time. I don't think you're going to be able to get it though for the Great League, which is kind of sad, like, because it's actually really good here. You need a very, very low level one, which you don't get from raids because they're minimum level 20. But Raikou itself is actually very solid as well for the Ultra League as well here, just generally if you want to have this Pokemon. It's here in the top 100 as a Shadow, so that's also a good idea because, like, Thunder Shock, Wild Charge, and Aura Sphere, you even have the option to go for Volt Switch instead, and Shadow Ball is coverage move as well. It's actually a very good Pokemon, so like, it's a great event generally. But let's take a look at the new Pokemon that have not been released previously. Starting off with Thundurus, we're going to get the Incarnate form, which is going to have access to Thunder Shock, Thunder Punch, and Brick Break, which is going to be an interesting combination. And if you don't like Brick Break, you can also go for Crunch, which is going to do... Yeah, it does kind of very similar. It does 20 more damage total for 5 more energy, so like, that's kind of worth it if you want to have it as a coverage. Both Brick Break as well as the Crunch are kind of okay. The one big issue for Thundurus is you don't have a nuke move. Like, you don't have a nuke move here. Thunder is kind of the best nuke move that you have, but Thunder is a 60 energy move. That means that you have to go for, I think it's a total of 7 fast moves, 7 Thunder Shocks should be, in order to get to the move here, which just takes a little bit too long for a frail Pokemon like the Thundurus, so you kind of have to rely on this. And as you see, it's very, very frail. But this doesn't mean that this Pokemon is bad. As you're going to see as well, this Pokemon actually has some potential. It is a very solid average rating for, like, a funny legendary Pokemon against the Open Great League currently. And the 2 shields is not really too good, not too surprised. But yeah, basically, you can use this Pokemon at least. If this thing is gonna get like some kind of harder hitting charge move though eventually in the future, then this Pokemon would be actually a very, very solid though. Like it would be a very, very good Pokemon like as a sweeper to play. It's another electric and flying type Pokemon. I literally just had a video on my channel about Killer Watrel, which just got released as well. Check it out if you haven't. But if we're ever going to get the Thundurus Therian form as a Shadow, you're going to have here the option to go for a Wild Bolt Storm, which is a very, very solid move, as well as a Volt Switch, which does a little bit more damage. For the Great League itself, it would be a little bit worse currently with the moveset, just because you don't have the fast pacing like the other one. But Thundurus itself is actually very interesting. I think it's kind of cool. And the next season basically as well, we're gonna get Landorus for the first time in the incarnate form, which is also an interesting Pokemon. It's not gonna be too strong after all of the nerfs that the moves that this Pokemon had released, got basically, but it's still kind of interesting. But anyway, Thundurus against the Great League here as well. You're gonna see the win matchups. You're gonna have the Jellicent, the Azumarill, the Corviknight. Pokemon generally, they're all weak to electric type Pokemon, and it's gonna be an interesting Pokemon just to run. Trust me, it is. If you can keep your radar and if you don't care about having all of the funny legendary Pokemon like I do, then you can keep it and you should keep it. It's not a good Pokemon otherwise, but it's fun to run it in the Great League and I like it, and I will definitely showcase it on this channel, so definitely stay tuned for this video. Anyhow, well, let's take a look here at the new Shadow Pokemon. Starting off with Chesnaught, a Pokemon that I think is going to be most likely a tiny bit worse with a Shadow bonus. Personally, because you don't have the immediate pressure, you actually like the bulk that Chesnaught provides. Like Chesnaught isn't that squishy, as you can see as well, 1900. It's very solid bulk. It's not like crazy bulk, but it's enough basically for you to take a hit 99% of the times. But basically here, Chesnaught itself is going to be a Pokemon that doesn't really benefit too much from it. Yes, if you can get a one-shot now with either of the very hard-hitting stab moves, that's fantastic now, but a lot of times I think it's just better to have a little bit more bulk on it, and we see it here as well a little bit. Here the Shadow version is a bit worse in the scenario, but that being said, that doesn't mean that Chesnaught is directly worse with it. If you compare it here head-to-head, you actually have some matchups here like Gasload, where you're going to be able to one-shot them now. So like, it's actually still a valid choice here, generally. I do think that the non-Shadow one is still going to be a bit more common, at least in this meta, but it might look a little bit different for the Ultra League. Which you can take a look at now. The Ultra League is going to be a bit different, but here generally speaking still you have a worse win rate basically here in the one shield scenario, at least as a Shadow version of this one. And the two shields you're going to have an equal one with quite a different set of wins, and in the zero shield, which most likely is your best matchup, yes it is actually where you're going to win a few more. And this is something that is kind of also considered here in the ranking. As you're going to see here in the Ultra League, you're going to be able to win against, for example, Lapras now, which is going to be amazing, but you take losses against like a Walrein, but you can win against a Goliath support. So it's not straight up worse. Like, this is the thing, Chesnaught as a Shadow is not straight up worse, it has some potential. And now for the not that interesting one, of course, Greninja is what everybody is kind of wanting for, but I kind of still want to go over the other ones because it's kind of important. Delphox is currently bad. Delphox is currently bad. Like, that's not something that is like a rocket science or anything like this. Everybody knows it. Nobody's running Delphox. But here is where you kind of need to hear me out. If Delphox, yeah, it's still Shadow Delphox is definitely better than a normal Delphox already. Like, at this point, it's definitely better. But if this Pokemon, I know it learns Ember, which I can take a look at here right now as well. If this Pokemon learns all of a sudden a move basically that allows it to generate energy faster, you already have a better win rate already. I am fairly certain, I'm 99% certain it learns Incinerate as well, which would be absolutely fantastic as well in the main series games, of course, not right now in Pokemon GO. Look at this, now it's all of a sudden meta. And this is what I kind of want to talk about here. Delphox is one fast move away of becoming absolute top meta. Like, that's it. Like, that is it. That's what I said before already. Just needs Incinerate and you're done. Like, it's done. Like, you win. Like, you're gonna be able to destroy everything. And the Shadow version is just so much better. Like, even if you're going to give this one Incinerate here, it's not gonna be the same. Like, it's absolutely not gonna be the same. You're gonna be better with the Shadow version here, and so that's why Delphox is kind of interesting. At the current standing, it's not a good Pokemon. You're gonna win only against a few Pokemon here, and in the Ultra League, it's kind of a similar story here. It's a little bit better as a Shadow version compared to the non-Shadow version, but it's still kind of far away from the meta currently because it just needs a better fast move than Fire Spin. But generally speaking, Shadow Delphox still worth it in my opinion to pick up and get rid of Frustration, which you can do through any Shadow Pokemon during this event by using a Charge TM. But now we're gonna take a look at, the one Pokemon that is the most interesting one, the most hyped one, and for good reason. I actually made a video before, just only recently, about top 10 Pokemon that if they get Shadow, they're going to be top meta. And Greninja, you're on this list, and for good reason. Greninja is a Pokemon that is so incredibly spammy that has a fast move that is actually so versatile by generating energy quite fast but still doing some solid damage, that the shadow bonus on this Pokemon with a low bulk that it has to begin with is actually fantastic. Like, this is actually exactly on what you want, and you see it here already. You're going to win 2 more matchups here already in what this is, the Zero Shield scenario with the Shadow version. You're just going to do more damage, and this is going to give you some more pickups in terms of KOs. There are certain Pokemon, like a few of them that I can think of as well, like mainly like something like Annihilate or Primeape, that would be able to take a non-Shadow Hydro Cannon, but as a Shadow version, it's completely a different one. And you see it here already. This Pokemon is absolutely fantastic. It's, in my opinion, a must-have to have as a Shadow. And 2-Shade looks actually a little bit worse, but generally speaking, I do think it's a must-have to be as a Shadow, especially if you're gonna get that a 12.5% chance of Night Sash to boost your own attack up. Your fast moves are going to destroy opponents, and you have way more of a chance, you know, to farm on opponents as well with Greninja, which previously could have been even a little bit more difficult, but this is going to change quite a bit. I think Greninja is going to be such an interesting Pokemon. Actually, right now at this point, let me take a look real quick at one specific matchup of Greninja, which I'm just curious about, because it's such a bad matchup in theory, but you spam so many moves the entire time. How do you play up against a Azumarill? Can you do it here as a as a Shadow version? You're still not going to be able to do it directly. You're not going to be able to win. But it's still so kind of funny, because like Greninja is still going to get this very bulky Pokemon quite low. And if they go for play off the entire time, you actually win as a Greninja against an Azumarill now, which is wild, isn't it? I'm not sure whether non-Shadow would have done the same. It would have not. So yeah, Shadow Greninja can win against a Azumarill in the 2-Shield scenario if they just go play rough, which is ridiculous. Anyway, here for the Open Great League itself, Greninja is just better. Like, Shadow Greninja is just so much better. Yes, you lose maybe it's Napoleon, but you have like matchups here against Malamar, which you can now one-shot with a Hydro Cannon. Against Credillia, you're going to have more play. Especially as this is a Pokemon that kind of benefits from having an energy lead. It's going to be such an impactful change here. And even for the Ultra League, let's take a look here real quick. For the Ultra League, it is better as well. It's just better straight away. It's a top tier meta Pokemon. And I have to say, like, go out, play this event. Like, this is the Pokemon. This is the one that you want. This is the Pokemon that you want to showcase as well. Like, I'm going to showcase this Pokemon. Absolutely. Like, there is no doubt about it. Like, this thing is going to be ridiculous. And as you see as well in the Ultra League, this thing is going to be wild. And so, yeah, this is going to be it for this video. This is a must-have event, like a must-play event. Absolutely. I would really recommend you to give this one a try. We have... also, next week, where this event is going to happen, we're going to have the Great League as well as the Ultra League Premier Cup actually available, where we can take a look at the Greninja and both of them, which is going to be amazing. Definitely stay tuned for this. I can't wait for it. I will definitely try to cover all of this on my channel. So if you enjoy this type of videos here, feel free to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.